All right, man, you guys are now tuning in Sports Industry Podcast, and let's get right into it. It's a couple things that I want to talk about. These NBA playoffs have been tremendous. So let's get into the first discussion, man. I want to talk about Timberwolves versus the Nuggets, Game 7. Absolutely great game, right? So initially, right, Denver looks like they got this. Up by, I want to say 15 at the half, and then eventually goes up by 20 in that third quarter. And then at some point, man, the Timberwolves defense started to lock down. Their offense started to get going. And I mean, honestly, the true leader of that squad, even though he was having a kind of like a bad game for sure, even though he was having a bad game, Anthony Edwards came out defensively in that second half with a different mindset, right? Him, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert being able to protect the rim, absolutely amazing to watch, right? Absolutely amazing. And Timberwolves just go ahead and they finish the deal. Like, as simple as that. They finished the deal, and it was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy to see the defending champs blow a 20-point lead in the second half. It's nuts, right? And I'm gonna be honest, right? They just look tired. They look absolutely beat. Jamal Murray played amazing in the first half, scored 24, I believe, and then 10 points in the second half. Jokic plays damn near the whole game, only gets like 2 minutes of rest, and I think that played a big part of them losing that oomph that they needed, that second run that they absolutely needed when the Timberwolves got back in the game. They had no answer. And honestly, I'm looking at it like Karl Anthony Towns is damn near the reason that they won offensively, right? He did his part. He showed up in the biggest moment. Anthony Edwards only had, I can't remember, but he shot like 6 for 24. But there was a turning point that I believe would happen, and that was when Karl Anthony Towns got in foul trouble. He gets out. Naz Reid comes in the game, and his energy level was so infectious, dude. Getting offensive rebounds, getting putback dunks, going to the line, hit Jokic with a nice Euro. Like, Naz Reid is an amazing piece that they have. 6th man of the year. And, I mean, what an amazing job he did, right? Shout out to Naz Reid, balling. Absolutely balled in that fourth quarter in that short period of time, right? So, Timberwolves, they did what they needed to do, right? And it was absolutely crazy. They go up 2-0, you're like, okay, they're going to definitely win this. And then they proceed to lose 3 games in a row against the defending champs, and everybody's like, they're done. They're absolutely done. And for some reason, they flipped the switch again. And that team's hella good, right? Defensively, they have all the pieces. They got 3 bigs, right? They got a deep bench. They got 2 guys in Nickeil Walker-Alexander and Jaden McDaniels who can defend the other team's best player, right? You got Anthony Edwards who can also do the same thing, but provide an amazing boost on offense. So you got Karl Anthony Towns, great big man that can spread the floor, hit threes at an amazing clip. Then you got the defensive player of the year protecting the rim. So that team was constructed to win a championship, and people didn't see it coming this year, but it sure did happen. It sure did happen. So that team is great. Now let's look at Minnesota versus the Dallas Mavericks. And boy, you want to talk about a matchup? Hey, Anthony Edwards kind of set the tone already, right? He said, my matchup is Kyrie Irving. And dude, that's going to be interesting to see, because I don't see Kyrie backing down one bit. Not at all. I don't care if Anthony Edwards is guarding him. I don't care if Dennis Rodman was guarding Kyrie. He's not backing down. And I think Kyrie has the skill level to create a sense of separation, right? And I'm just excited to see what that number 1 defense in Minnesota Timberwolves can do against a high-powered offense with Luka and Kyrie at the helm, right? So it's going to be a great series. It should be a great series starting on Wednesday. And it's going to be fucking nuts. It's going to be absolutely crazy to watch Kyrie, Luka versus Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. Does Nas Reed have a big series? Does Rudy Gobert give you something offensively? Like it's gonna be amazing to watch. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. But let's get back. I kind of want to get back to something that Mike Malone said at the end of the press conference, which was a little. I mean, I know you're upset, right? But it was kind of out of line. So the reporter asks, how do you feel? You're up by 20, you lose the game, and he goes back and says, I mean, the season's over, blah, blah, blah. It's a stupid ass question. And that right there kind of shows you that they're not able to handle losses, right? They were talking all this stuff against the Lakers, all this stuff last year and this year. And then when you lose to a better team, right, you're sore losers. Jamal Murray, Mike Malone. So that team, I'm a Laker fan. I think every Laker fan was rooting for Minnesota to win, and it happened. So I'm glad it happened, dude, because honestly, I mean, some sore losers. Y'all was talking all that mess when y'all was winning. Now y'all want to act like this when y'all losing? Cool. Glad y'all out. Anthony Edwards did what he had to do. Karl Anthony Towns did what he had to do. So I'm glad that happened. So I just wanted to go back and touch on that, right? So let's get into the New York Knicks versus the Pacers. And honestly, man, New York just ran out of bodies, dude. They ran out of bodies. They looked tired. But it was only so much you can do. Only so much you can do. I kind of feel bad for Tom Thibodeau, but he kind of put this on himself by playing those guys so many minutes. Like OG, right? You got a hamstring. I mean, when you play 48 minutes, 40 plus minutes in the playoffs, high intensity playoffs, a hamstring like that is going to happen. Josh Hart, abdominal strain. That's going to happen when you play 48 minutes. Like he kind of put this on himself, on that team. But honestly, I mean, New York, they did amazing. They had a great season. It was actually kind of fun to watch the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson lead that team. They play with a lot of heart, and I'm excited to see what they do this offseason and next season, right? Because you still got Jalen, you got Julius. I think, are they going to keep Bogdanovich? What are they going to do with a center, right? Mitchell Robinson has proven that he cannot stay healthy. What are they going to do at the big position? But that team is absolutely amazing. Dante DiVincenzo, he showed out this season. 30-point games. He almost had 40 in a game 7. He had 39 and shot damn well. So Josh Hart, another energizer, right? So that team, they got a lot of talent. They have a bright future ahead of them, but they do need to add another, let's say, scoring guard. I would say that. So I'm excited to see what the New York Knicks do next season, whatever it is. But shout out to New York. Indiana versus Boston should be a fun series if Indiana can shoot well. So it is what it is. And let's get into the next topic. Will Dallas overcome Minnesota's high-powered defense? Or will that offense from Dallas kind of what, the Timberwolves asked, right? So Dallas, Minnesota, that's going to be a hell of a series. It's going to be a hell of a series. And I do think it can go 7 games. The least is 6, right? And who's going to end up on top? It's hard, bro, because I'm kind of like a big Kyrie fan. I think Luka's great, like absolutely amazing. But Minnesota, that defense and their ability to score when they get it going, I think it will overpower Dallas. So I got Minnesota to winning in 7 or 6. And then that Boston-Indiana series, I mean, it's like everybody's been saying, it's the Boston Invitational. And, I mean, does Indiana get one? I think they do get one, just like Miami Heat did, just like the Cavs did. I think they do get one. Hopefully they get 2. But I got Boston winning in 5 or 6. Like, Boston's a little too dominant when it comes to the East. Now, Boston versus Minnesota, yeah, that's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one. Because you got Jaden McDaniels who can either guard Tatum or Brown, then honestly, Minnesota has the wing perimeter players to guard the Celtics out on the perimeter. The Celtics' biggest thing is shooting the three ball, and I think Minnesota can't stop that. Now, when you drive to the basket, you got some big dudes. You got Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns protecting the rim. So that's going to be a hell of a series, but I would absolutely choose Minnesota damn near in 6. And I'm a Laker fan, right? I mean, kind of Boston, not a fan. Not a fan of Boston. So I got Minnesota in 6. They win their first NBA championship. Minnesota, 2024 NBA champions. And that's it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sports Industry Podcast.